Whiteboard and Energy Bootcamp here. I want to share with you three stories. First story, basically, I was with a group of people. We were leaving a workshop. We were in this gentleman's car, Steve, and we were driving along, and this car started to kind of edge out in front of him, and he waved the driver in, and he said, "Go for it." And then he basically said a conversational tone, he says, "You were going to do it anyways." Second story, I was at a party, basically. I'm not sure if it was a retirement party, a birthday party. All I remember is that there was cake. I met these two ladies, we'll call them Betty and Wilma, and they had just undertaken basically an exercise and diet program and been making some changes. Betty was all enthusiastic about it, Wilma not so much. A little later on, I came around. Most of the party was taking place in the living room and out back and stuff like that. They had the cake situated in this hallway off to the side. And I remember coming around the hallway, and just as I came around the corner, there was Wilma, and she was at the cake, and it was like watching one of those documentaries on shark attacks, and her eyes, as she was taking this piece of cake and just stuffing it in her mouth, her eyes were rolling in the back of her head. It was crazy. She was trying to hide the evidence there. And that was my story number two. Story number three, it was a client of mine. He had told me about how him and his wife had went to this yoga meditation session, and the instructor, she had everyone basically eat a quarter of an apple, and she had them basically just totally immerse themselves in the whole experience. Basically, as they were eating it, it would be like, okay, now I want you to basically experience your saliva building in your mouth, experience the taste, experience what it feels like against your tongue, feel like what it feels like when you're chewing on it. And they did this for an entire hour, and he said at the end of the hour, he said he was actually very satisfied. So how do these three stories tie in? If you've got cravings, so if you decide, okay, I'm not going to eat something, and you kind of get it in your head, and then it disappears, hey, don't worry about it, then that's cool. But basically, if you start to get cravings, and you're always thinking about it, and then you're telling yourself, ooh, you start to get into this mental fight where it's just like, okay, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. At that point, okay, go for it. You're going to do it anyways. Okay? Just remember that. If you're really experiencing those cravings, you're going to go for it. You're going to indulge. If you do so, what I want you to do, though, is fully experience what it is you're going to be eating. Okay? The tendency is people turn around when they're eating something they shouldn't. They turn around and they eat it quickly, or they stuff it in their mouth and stuff like that. Okay? Again, as I said, hide the evidence. Take the time, experience what it is that you're eating. Okay? What you'll find then is that it'll give you basically more to evaluate. Okay? When you start to think about, okay, I've eaten these crackers and this ice cream, and I keep doing this, and you basically get to evaluate or compare it to what it's going to do. Okay, it's going to cause me to gain weight. I'm going to feel like crap, or maybe I'm going to be eating this before bed. That's going to impact my sleep. I'm going to wake up in the morning feeling groggy, lethargic. That way, you're able to evaluate a lot more effectively. As opposed to what happens is when people do is they get food fantasies. Okay, when you have your cravings, it starts to build up in your head, and then the thing is you turn around and you scarf it down, so you never get the experience. So then what happens is the next time you think about that food, you're still thinking about how great it is. Okay, because you never got that experience. Okay, so if you get the craving, go for it. You're gonna go for it anyways, and when you do it, take the time and actually experience it, okay? Take the time, get the pleasure from it, okay? Sit down, take your time, eat it without the guilt, okay? Do all those things. While you're doing that, think about basically what it is, why it is you were saying you didn't want to eat this food, what's going to happen, okay? Again, do that. Give yourself the experience. As soon as you basically make it like a forbidden food, okay, you tend to build it up. So again, have that experience. I'm out here basically in Westminster Ponds, one of London's many jewels. I really encourage you basically this summer, get yourselves out. London's got a lot of places to go out and enjoy. Don't necessarily come out and enjoy it with Energy Bootcamp. Go out with a friend, whatever the case. But get out, basically enjoy all the parks and green areas London has to offer. I'll see you